So I'd found when I exhibited the To Live dome that it kind of got, I mean this was at the festival last year, as you can see with all the welly boots, and it kind of got a bit trashed because it was, people would sit on the sloping walls at the side, and because it was so small, there wasn't, if people went into it, that was kind of what would happen. And people had been sort of saying, well, why don't you put like a big pole in the middle and the whole thing would be held up? And I was like, oh no, you know, it's the, my work's kind of about truth of materials. I like to only use the things that it's made of. Yeah. So even with, I mean, with this, part of the idea for it was that the whole thing is held together with a little white plastic bolts that the soled strip is attached to the board with. So yeah, I really sort of struggled with the idea of putting a sort of internal structure inside it until, again, I had a light bulb moment, which is what do these signs get put up with? A great long 2-metre pole. So I kind of started thinking about how I'd make an internal structure using that. I also started working out how I'd tile a large number of boards. The reason a lot of my work is made out of 60 things is because that's kind of the maximum, precise, exactly the same tiles you can put around this polyhedra. So, for instance, the To Live is actually based on this Diarchis trichondahedron, which is a 60-sided shape. Sorry, it's a 120-sided shape, but I broke I sort of joined each of the triangles together to make this sort of kite shape, and you can sort of see how that relates to this. There's 4 boards joining at one corner, 5 at another, and oh, hang on, I thought that should be there. Silly me. Okay, yeah, 4 joining together there, 3 joining together there, and 5 joining together there. And likewise, the smaller To Play dome was based on the rhombic trichondahedron, so it's a 30-sided shape. And again, all the boards were joined together in the same way. So to make something with more boards, my maths needed to sort of jump up a level, which I wasn't quite capable of. So I looked on Google SketchUp, which is absolute magic for the sort of rusty AL maths kid with not quite enough maths to work out how to do all this clever stuff. So, and what you can do is download these models and just put a measuring tape against it, or electronic measuring tape, and work out the lengths of all the sides. So, first of all, I looked at this shape, which is it's a 4 frequency triangulation of an isopolyhedron. And so you get these, you get 5 of these red diamonds around a pentagon, and you get 3 of these blue diamonds around a triangle. And so I came up with this design where you can see I've sort of basically jammed these like long diamond shapes into the sort of swap shape of the board, and to do that I've had to cut slots in the edges, and so the whole thing's kind of slotted and bolted together. And one thing I quite liked about this was that it was possible to cut a door that was actually the same size as one of the boards. Which, yeah, and it ended up, I then realised it was going to be actually the height of the inside of it was going to be a lot smaller than an average adult. So I decided to jack it up another level and made this, which is a sort of 3/4 dome with a sort of circular entrance. But I kind of realised that to make this out of estate agent boards was going to be an absolute nightmare. Cutting all those slots and slotting it and bolting it would just take forever and be do. So I kind of abandoned that idea, but it went into the same structure actually went into this sphere of shadows sculpture that I made for the school in Bournemouth. So all was not lost. But then, I kind of had another sort of realisation, which is that I could, whereas with the To Live dome I just worked with pentagons, I could use the same idea of these sort of kite shapes, but use pentagons and hexagons, and so that would give me a 135 board dome, and basically using the same building methods as I've used before. And so I came up with this design, which is 4 metres in diameter and 3 metres high, with a 1 metre door. And so here, as well as the internal structure, as you can see, it's a icosahedron with the bottom cut off, and with these little sort of spaces added as well to sort of give it even more support. And when I realised that I was on the right, it's strong, yeah. So here I am swinging from one of the corners of it. And when I realised I was completely on the right track, was here is a standard estate agent board pole. Here is one of the sides of my sphere of the structure. There's the spacer for the corner, little block there, and there's the added spacer at the middle of each strut. And since the whole thing is dictated by the sort of geometry of the boards and how it fits within those kite shapes, this was kind of like gold dust. It was like, right, this must be the shape to use. So, crazy enough, I did the whole thing in our very small flat and in the hallway, which the neighbours loved. And I punched by hand all the 540 holes in all the boards.
Did you collect all the boards yourself?
I found well, actually for the other two, I had, well, for To Live, it took me a year to work out the design, sort of, on and off. And in the meantime, I sort of just, whenever I sort of skipped with a board in it, I sort of jumped in and got it. And To Live only took 15 boards, so again, I sort of managed to find most of those. But for this, it was like 135. I'm going to get those. And I did a bit of research and found a recycling plant in the outskirts of London that has just sort of a trailer full of them. So that's where it is. And here's drilling the holes on our landing. And again, one thing that would have been a nightmare about this was that it was difficult to make them into a modular units to sort of put together, whereas this was all just triangles, and in fact, just pretty much the same triangle. So it had one board going to a pentagon and two boards going out to the hexagons. Here it is, half made at the Newcastle Science Festival a couple of weeks ago. And one of the really nice things was, because it was so high, 3 metres, I could install my cable tie lampshade as a sort of lovely sort of lounge lampshade in the middle of it. And here it is. So it's a metre diameter hole in it. One thing, again, sort of trying to sort of look at doing things differently. I mean, one could just cut a rectangular door out of this and have that as a door. But I quite like the idea that it was kind of playful and a bit like an igloo, and so people would actually have to sort of be a bit like children to sort of crawl into it. And they ran sort of workshops inside, which was a nice sort of use for the Science Festival. One little sort of extra thing, and I've been thinking about this sort of peephole thing about these kids sort of peering in, and I decided instead of just leaving it the hole, I put a door keyhole viewer inside it, so it's like you get a fisheye view of the interior. Like so. And so on the inside, all you can see were these little spy holes peeping in at you. And what was really nice is that when you looked in, it was directly in line with the opposite side. There's one here as well. It's in line with the door, but unfortunately that photograph didn't come out. But you can see here the triangle is directly in line. You can see the sort of pentagonal corners. So that's talk. I was just going to show you a quick. This is the again. To live took 5 test builds before it got right. This took about 3, and did like until it was almost right, and then it was kind of a bit of a wing and a prayer on the when I installed it at the Science Festival. But yeah, here it is. So yeah, so putting the struts together. So we're actually building it from the roof upwards to sort of save on having to get people up on ladders and stuff. And we jacked it up on tables. So we're just adding more and more of these triangular units and pinning them onto the spaces and the corner struts. You can see us building the walls basically here, getting ready to lift it up onto that.
Who are these people holding it?
It's part of this place called the Centre for Life in Newcastle. It's like a sort of science exploratorium. Oh, and there is. It's gone up.
So not elves.
Sorry?
They're not elves.
There's the one guy who looked a bit like a dwarf. But,
How long did this take?
this was over 2 days, so there's one shot taken every 10 seconds here. Actually, that's gone into the second day, it's there. And it stopped. Unfortunately, the camera switched off 4 hours before we finished it, but it was mostly just sort of clearing up at the end. So you can see the door starting to form there, and in a minute you'll see a few of them with cuts. There were 15 with sort of odd-shaped cuts at the bottom that sort of made it all flush with the ground.
Yes.
And there's a wooden support there for the door. You can see there's a few sort of cuts off here.
How heavy is it?
Sorry?
How heavy is it?
The whole thing, we had to move it on the last day, and 5 people could lift it and carry it. So yeah, it's not all that heavy really. It's just probably a cardboard. Yeah. I'm just going to show you as well a quick video of the